You'll never be her. The words came from a 6-year-old girl, screaming at the top of her lungs. Little Rudo stood in the middle of the living room, her face red with tears and rage, pointing at Chipo like she was poison. My mother was beautiful. My mother was kind. You are nothing compared to her. I hate you. The birthday cake Chipo had spent all morning baking sat on the table, untouched. The candles she'd carefully arranged were melting, wax dripping onto the pink frosting. The decorations she'd hung, princesses and balloons, Rudo's favorite things, seemed to mock her now. Chipo's husband, Tafadzwa, stood frozen in the doorway, his face twisted with pain and confusion. He didn't know what to say. He didn't know whose side to take. The few relatives who had come to the party, maybe 10 people total, stared at Chipo with a mixture of pity and judgment. Some shook their heads, others whispered to each other behind their hands. But I'm getting ahead of myself. Let me tell you how we got here, to this terrible moment. Let me tell you about Chipo and why everyone said she made the biggest mistake of her life when she married a man who could never truly be hers. 9 months earlier, Chipo worked as a nurse at Perien Yatwa Hospital in Harare. She worked long shifts, 12 hours sometimes, taking care of patients who came in with malaria, accidents, difficult births. She was good at her job, patient, caring, the kind of nurse who remembered your name and asked about your family. Chipo was 32 years old and unmarried. In her community, this was practically a crime. "What's wrong with you?" her aunties asked constantly. "You're not getting any younger, your eggs are dying, soon no man will want you." Men tried to date her, doctors at the hospital, businessmen who came to visit sick relatives, even married men who thought she was desperate enough to be a second wife. But Chipo said no to all of them. She wanted something real, something honest, not just any man with money or status. One Thursday evening, a man rushed into the emergency room carrying a little girl. The child was unconscious, burning with fever. "Please help her," the man begged. "She's all I have. Please don't let her die." Chipo took the child immediately. Malaria, severe malaria. They had maybe an hour to save her life. Chipo worked fast. IV fluids, medication, cold compresses. She stayed with that little girl for 3 hours straight, monitoring every breath, every heartbeat. The man sat in the waiting area, his head in his hands, praying quietly. Finally, the child's fever broke. Her eyes fluttered open. She would survive. Chipo came out to tell the father. "She's going to be okay. She's very strong." The man burst into tears. Thank you so much. She's all I have left. Her mother died 2 years ago. If I lost Rudo too, I don't know what I would do." Chipo's heart broke for him. She saw the exhaustion in his eyes, the grief that never fully healed, the weight of being both mother and father to a child who missed her mama every single day. "What's your name?" Chipo asked gently. "Tafadzwa. And that little warrior in there is Rudo." Over the next 3 days, while Rudo recovered in the hospital, Chipo got to know Tafadzwa. He was a teacher at a primary school. He earned a modest salary, but somehow made it stretch to cover rent, food, school fees, and everything else a child needed. He spoke about his late wife, Tendai, with such love and sadness that Chipo felt like she was intruding on something sacred. "She was everything," Tafadzwa said one afternoon. "Beautiful, smart, funny. She made our little house feel like a palace. When she died during childbirth, our second child didn't survive either. It felt like the sun went out. I've just been going through the motions ever since, trying to be strong for Rudo." Chipo listened. She didn't try to offer empty comfort or tell him everything would be okay. She just listened. And Tafadzwa appreciated that more than she knew. When Rudo was discharged, Tafadzwa brought a small gift for Chipo, a basket of homemade biscuits. "Rudo and I made these to say thank you. You saved her life." Chipo smiled. That's my job, but thank you. These look delicious. Can I take you to dinner sometime? Tafadzwa asked nervously, just to say thank you properly. Chipo hesitated. She could see he was lonely. She could see he was struggling, but she also felt something else. She felt drawn to his kindness, his honesty, his dedication to his daughter. Yes, Chipo said. I'd like that. That dinner turned into another dinner, then walks in the park, then Sunday lunches where Rudo came along, quiet and shy, watching Chipo with suspicious eyes. Tafadzwa and Chipo fell in love slowly. It wasn't dramatic or passionate like in movies. It was gentle and careful. Two wounded people finding comfort in each other. But there was always a ghost in the room. Tendai, the perfect wife, the beloved mother, the woman who could never be replaced. After 4 months of dating, Tafadzwa asked Chipo a question that changed everything. Chipo, I know this isn't easy. I know I come with baggage, a child, a past, memories that will never go away. But I love you, and I think we could build something beautiful together. Will you marry me? Chipo looked at this man, this good, broken man who was trying so hard to move forward while honoring his past. She saw the hope in his eyes. She saw the fear, too. Fear that she would say no, that she would leave him alone again. Yes, she said, I'll marry you. That's when her entire world turned against her. When Chipo told her family about Tafadzwa, they were horrified. A widower? Her mother cried. With a child? Chipo, are you insane? You'll always be second choice, her sister warned. He'll never love you the way he loved her. You'll spend your whole marriage competing with a ghost. Her father was even worse. That man is looking for a mother for his child, not a wife. You'll be a servant in your own home. Is that what you want? But the cruelest words came from her aunt, my Ruru. She made sure everyone in the family knew about Chipo's foolish decision. That girl has always been desperate, my Ruru said to anyone who would listen. Now she's so old and unwanted that she'll accept anyone, even a man whose heart is buried in a grave with his first wife. Shameful. Chipo's friends tried to talk sense into her too. Girl, you're a nurse with a good job. You're beautiful. You can find your own man, not someone's leftovers. Why are you settling? But Chipo didn't feel like she was settling. She felt like she was choosing love. Real, complicated, imperfect love. The wedding was small. Tafadzwa's family came, though his mother cried through the entire ceremony, not tears of joy, but tears of grief for Tendai. Chipo's family barely showed up. Her parents came out of obligation, but left immediately after. My Ruru didn't come at all. She sent a message instead. I won't watch my niece destroy her life. Little Rudo was the flower girl. She walked down the aisle dropping petals, her face blank and emotionless. When the pastor asked if anyone objected to the marriage, Chipo held her breath. She half expected Rudo to stand up and scream, but the little girl just sat there, staring at her shoes. They were married, and then the real struggle began. The first month of marriage was a nightmare. Chipo moved into Tafadzwa's small house, the house he'd shared with Tendai. Tendai's pictures were everywhere, on the walls, on the dresser, on the refrigerator. In every room, Tendai's smile watched Chipo. Can we maybe put some of these away? Chipo asked gently one evening. Tafadzwa's face went hard. Those pictures are for Rudo. She needs to remember her mother. I understand that, but maybe not in every single room? I'm not erasing Tendai from this house, Tafadzwa said firmly. So the picture stayed. Worse than the pictures was Rudo. The little girl hated Chipo, not just disliked, hated. Chipo tried everything. She cooked Rudo's favorite foods, she helped with homework, she bought little gifts, she tried to play games and tell stories. Rudo rejected everything. My mother made better food than you. My mother was smarter than you. My mother was prettier than you. I don't want your stupid gifts. Every single day was a battle. Rudo refused to call Chipo by her name. She just said, "you," or "that woman." Tuffatswa didn't know how to handle it. He was caught between his daughter's grief and his new wife's pain. "She just needs time," he kept saying. "She's hurting. Be patient." But how much patience was Chipo supposed to have? How long was she supposed to be rejected in her own home? Chipo's family made everything worse. "See," her sister said when she called crying one night, "we warned you. You're living in another woman's shadow. Come home. Get a divorce. It's not too late." My Ruru spread rumors throughout the community. "Chipo is suffering. That child treats her like dirt and the husband does nothing. She made her bed. Now she must lie in it." People who saw Chipo at the market whispered, "There's the woman who married the widower. I hear the child hates her. Poor thing. She should have known better." The worst day came 3 months into the marriage. It was Rudo's 6th birthday. Chipo wanted to do something special. She wanted to show Rudo that she cared, that she wasn't trying to replace Tendai, but wanted to be a positive presence in her life. She woke up early and baked a cake. Pink frosting, just like Rudo liked. She decorated the living room with princess decorations, invited a few of Rudo's cousins and Tuffatswa's family. Everything was perfect. When Rudo came home from school and saw the decorations, her face didn't light up with joy. It twisted with rage. "What is this?" she screamed. "It's your birthday party, sweetie," Chipo said, trying to sound cheerful. "I don't want your party. My mother used to make my birthday parties, not you. You are not my mother." Tuffatswa tried to calm her down. "Rudo, Chipo worked very hard." "I don't care," Rudo screamed louder. She pointed at Chipo with pure hatred in her eyes. "You will never be her. My mother was beautiful. My mother was kind. You are nothing compared to her. I hate you." The relatives stared. Some of them looked at Chipo with pity. Others looked at her with judgment, as if this was all her fault for marrying into this situation. Chipo felt tears burning her eyes, but she refused to cry in front of everyone. She refused to let them see her break. She turned and walked into the bedroom. She closed the door, and then she let the tears fall. She heard Tuffatswa outside trying to calm Rudo. She heard the little girls still screaming and crying. She heard relatives murmuring, probably saying this marriage was doomed. Chipo sat on the bed Tuffatswa had shared with Tendai, and wondered if everyone was right. Had she made a terrible mistake? That night, after the guests left and Rudo finally fell asleep exhausted from crying, Tuffatswa came into the bedroom. Chipo was packing a bag. "What are you doing?" he asked, his voice panicked. "I'm leaving." "Chipo, no, please, don't." "Your daughter hates me, Tuffatswa. Hates me, and you do nothing. You just stand there and watch her scream at me. You ask me to be patient, but how much more patient can I be?" Tuffatswa sat down heavily. "I don't know what to do. She's a child, grieving her mother, but you're my wife, and I love you. I'm caught between your past and your future," Chipo finished, "and your past is winning." Silence filled the room. Then Tuffatswa did something unexpected. He started crying. The strong man who'd held everything together for 2 years broke down completely. "I don't know how to do this," he sobbed. "I don't know how to help Rudo move forward. I don't know how to make her see that loving you doesn't mean forgetting her mother. I don't know how to be a good husband to you when my daughter needs me so much. I'm failing everyone." Chipo's anger melted. She sat down next to him. "We're both drowning," she said quietly, "and we can't save each other if we're drowning. What do we do?" Chipo took a deep breath. "We get help, professional help. Rudo needs to talk to someone about her grief. We need to talk to someone about how to blend our family. And you need to make a choice, not between Tendai and me, but between staying stuck in grief or moving forward while honoring the past." Tuffatswa looked at her with red eyes. "You're not leaving?" "Not yet, but if things don't change, I will. "I love you, Tafadzwa, but I can't live in a house where I'm hated and invisible." That night marked a turning point. The next week, Tafadzwa found a family counselor. It wasn't easy. Therapy was expensive, and many people in their community thought it was for crazy people. But they went anyway. In those sessions, painful truths came out. Rudo admitted she thought if she hated Chipo enough, Chipo would leave, and maybe, just maybe, her real mother would come back somehow. In her 6-year-old mind, Chipo's presence meant accepting that Mama was really gone forever. Tafadzwa admitted he'd been holding on to Tendai so tightly because letting go felt like killing her all over again. He realized he'd been trying to keep everything exactly the same, which meant there was no room for Chipo to be herself. Chipo admitted she'd been trying too hard to win Rudo's love, which made the rejection hurt even more. She'd been looking for validation instead of just being present. The counselor gave them homework. Hard, uncomfortable homework. Tafadzwa had to create a special memory box for Rudo, a beautiful box with Tendai's pictures, her jewelry, letters she'd written. This would be Rudo's treasure, always available but contained. Then he had to take down most of the pictures throughout the house and put up new family photos that included Chipo. Honoring the past doesn't mean living in it, the counselor said. You can remember Tendai without making Chipo invisible. Rudo had to do something even harder. She had to draw a picture of her feelings. She drew a tiny stick figure, herself, standing between two giant figures, her mother's ghost on one side and Chipo on the other. Both were pulling at her. "Who are you loyal to?" the counselor asked gently. "Mama," Rudo whispered. "And if you like Chipo, does that mean you're betraying Mama?" Rudo nodded, tears streaming down her face. "What if I told you you can love both, that loving Chipo doesn't take any of your love for your Mama? Love isn't a pie where if you give a slice to someone, there's less for others. Love grows. The more you give, the more you have." This was a concept Rudo couldn't fully grasp at 6 years old, but it was a seed planted. Chipo's homework was the hardest. She had to stop trying to be Rudo's mother. She had to just be Chipo, a kind adult in Rudo's life who cared about her but wasn't trying to replace anyone. "Let Rudo come to you. Stop chasing her approval," the counselor said. It was counterintuitive, but Chipo tried. She stopped making special meals just for Rudo. She stopped buying gifts. She stopped trying so hard. She just existed in the house, doing her own thing, treating Rudo with kindness, but not desperately seeking her love. And slowly, so slowly it was almost imperceptible, things began to change. One evening, Chipo was cooking dinner. Rudo wandered into the kitchen and just stood there watching. Chipo didn't make a big deal of it. She just kept cooking. "What are you making?" Rudo asked, finally. "Rice and chicken stew." "Oh." Silence. "Do you want to help?" Chipo asked, casually. Rudo hesitated, then nodded. "Okay, can you wash these tomatoes for me?" For 15 minutes, they worked side by side in silence. Rudo washed vegetables, Chipo chopped and stirred. No big conversation, no forced bonding, just two people sharing space. When dinner was ready, Rudo said quietly, "It smells good." "Thank you," Chipo replied simply. That was the first crack in the wall. Over the next months, tiny moments accumulated. Rudo asking Chipo to help with a difficult homework problem, Rudo laughing at something Chipo said, Rudo accepting a Band-Aid from Chipo when she scraped her knee. It wasn't dramatic. There was no big "I love you" moment, just slow, gradual acceptance. Tafadzwa changed too. He started introducing Chipo as "my wife" instead of Rudo's stepmother. He held her hand in public. He put up photos of their wedding alongside photos of Tendai. He created space for both his past and his present. One Sunday, they visited Tendai's grave as a family. Chipo had suggested it, which surprised Tafadzwa. "I think Rudo needs to talk to her mama, and I want to too." At the grave, Rudo placed flowers and told her mama about school, about her friends, about her life. Then Chipo knelt down. Tendai, I never got to meet you, but I promise I'll take care of your family. I'm not trying to replace you. I'm just trying to love them the best way I know how. Thank you for the beautiful daughter and husband you left behind. Tafadzwa cried. Rudo watched Chipo with new eyes, eyes that saw not a rival, but someone who respected her mother. The real breakthrough came 8 months into the marriage. Chipo got very sick with typhoid. She was in bed for a week, barely able to move. Tafadzwa had to work, so during the day, Rudo was there with our neighbor checking in occasionally. On the 3rd day, Rudo quietly came into the bedroom carrying a glass of water. The neighbor lady said you need to drink, Rudo said, not quite meeting Chipo's eyes. Thank you, sweetheart, Chipo whispered, too weak to sit up properly. Rudo helped her drink, holding the glass carefully. Then the little girl just stood there, uncertain. What's wrong? Chipo asked. Are you going to die? Rudo's voice was tiny and scared. No, baby, I'm just sick. I'll get better. Mama got sick and then she died. Chipo's heart broke. She reached out weakly and took Rudo's small hand. I'm not going anywhere, I promise. This is just regular sickness. The medicine is working. Rudo's eyes filled with tears. I don't want you to die. I won't. I was mean to you. I said I hated you. What if you die and those were my last words to you? Like with Mama, I was naughty the morning she went to the hospital and she never came back. Chipo pulled Rudo onto the bed and hugged her. Oh, my sweet girl, your mama knew you loved her, and I know you were hurting. You don't have to be afraid. Rudo cried into Chipo's chest. All the grief, all the confusion, all the pain came pouring out. When Tafadzwa came home that evening, he found them asleep together, Chipo and Rudo curled up in bed, Rudo's small hand holding tight to Chipo's shirt. From that day forward, everything was different. 1 year after their wedding, they had another birthday party for Rudo. This time, it was different. Rudo helped Chipo bake the cake. They decorated together. When guests arrived, Rudo grabbed Chipo's hand and said, "This is my tete Chipo. She helped make my party." Not mama, but tete, auntie, a term of respect and affection, a name that belonged only to Chipo. The same relatives who'd watched in horror the year before now watched in amazement. What happened? How did this change? Chipo's family came too. Even my Ruru showed up, though she stood in the corner with her arms crossed. After the cake, Tafadzwa stood up to make a speech. 1 year ago, we had another party that didn't go so well, he said, and everyone laughed nervously. I want to thank my wife, Chipo, for not giving up on us, for being patient when we didn't deserve it, for loving us through the hardest time. Chipo's eyes filled with tears. And Rudo, Tafadzwa continued, do you have something you want to say? The little girl stood up, shy but determined. Tete Chipo, thank you for loving my daddy, and thank you for loving me, even when I was mean. You're very nice, and I'm happy you're in our family. The room erupted in applause. My Ruru wiped her eyes with the handkerchief, though she'd never admit she was crying. After the party, as they cleaned up, Rudo asked Chipo a question. Tete Chipo, do you think my mama would like you? Chipo thought carefully. I think your mama would be happy that someone who loves you is taking care of you. I think she would want your daddy to be happy, and I think she'd be very proud of you for being so brave. Rudo nodded, satisfied. Then she hugged Chipo tight. I'm happy you're here. 2 years into the marriage, Chipo and Tafadzwa's lives had completely transformed. They'd moved into a bigger house, not because the old one was bad, but because they wanted to build new memories in new space. Rudo had her own room decorated exactly how she wanted, and yes, there was a special shelf with pictures of Tendai, always honored, never forgotten. Chipo was promoted to head nurse at the hospital. Her dedication and skill were finally being recognized. Tafadzwa became deputy headmaster at his school, earning more money and respect. But the biggest change was their family. Chipo was pregnant. When they told Rudo, they were nervous about how she'd react. A baby? Rudo's eyes went wide. I'm going to be a big sister? Yes, Chipo said carefully. How do you feel about that? Rudo thought for a moment. Will you love the baby more than me? No, Chipo and Safadzwa said together. We'll love you both equally. Different, but equal. Rudo grinned. Okay, can I help pick the name? They invited everyone to a family celebration when the baby was born, a healthy boy they named Tariwa. We are blessed. Chipo's entire family came. Her mother held the baby and cried happy tears. My daughter, I'm so proud of you. I was wrong to doubt you. Her father apologized too. You knew what you were doing all along. You found a good man and built a strong family. Even my Ruru came, though she'd never explicitly apologized, but she brought a beautiful blanket she'd crocheted for the baby. Every child needs a warm blanket, she said gruffly, which was as close to I'm sorry as she'd ever get. But the most beautiful moment was watching Rudo hold her baby brother. She was so gentle, so careful, so proud. I'll protect him, she whispered. I'll teach him everything, and I'll tell him about both his grandmothers, Grandmother Tendai in heaven and Tete Chipo who loves us. Chipo's heart overflowed. This was family. Messy, complicated, blended, but real. That evening, after everyone left, Tafadzwa held Chipo close. Everyone said you made a mistake marrying me, he whispered. I know. But you didn't, did you? Chipo smiled. Not for a single second. Because love isn't about perfect circumstances. It's about choosing each other every day, even when it's hard, especially when it's hard. She looked at Rudo sleeping on the couch, exhausted from excitement. She looked at their newborn son sleeping in his crib. She looked at this man who'd been brave enough to love again after devastating loss. We built this, she said, together. From broken pieces, we made something beautiful. Years later, people still talked about Chipo's story. The woman who married a widower and everyone said it would fail. The woman who entered a house haunted by the ghost of a perfect wife. The woman who faced a grieving child's hatred and didn't run away. Young women learned that sometimes the best love stories aren't the easy ones. Sometimes they're the ones where you have to fight for every inch of progress. They learned that you can honor the past while building a future, that dead doesn't mean replaced, that grief and love can exist in the same heart at the same time. And they learned that stepmothers aren't evil villains from fairy tales. Sometimes they're heroes who choose love when it would be so much easier to walk away. Chipo never tried to erase Tendai. Rudo grew up knowing both women loved her, and that made her stronger, not more confused. When Rudo was older, she wrote an essay for school called My Two Mothers. My first mother gave me life. My second mother taught me how to live. I'm lucky because I got to be loved by both. That essay won first prize. When Rudo brought home the certificate, she gave it to Chipo. This is for you, Tete, for never giving up on me. Chipo cried happy tears. All the pain, all the rejection, all the hard days, they were worth it for this moment.
Thank you so much for staying till the end. You see what just happened? You witnessed the power of real storytelling. I am African Folktales by Mazi K, and let me tell you something important. When you stick with me, you get stories that touch your soul, stories about real struggles, real pain, and real triumph. I don't do surface-level nonsense. I go deep. This is what sets me apart. This is why I'm the best at what I do. So hit that subscribe button right now because more powerful stories are coming your way. Stories that will make you cry, make you think, and make you believe in love again. Don't miss out on the greatest storytelling channel on this platform, African Folktales by Mazi K, where every story changes your perspective. I'm the best storyteller you'll ever know, and that's not arrogance, that's just facts.